All right. All right, welcome back. We're going to go to the sine function now for the sum of difference identities. So for sum, we are looking at sine a plus b and sine a minus b. Once again, sum and difference. So with this, when it comes to sum, we talk about the sines for cosine. For sum, the sines stay the same. Or for sine, the sines stay the same. So for s here, it can be same sign. So cosines, we change signs here. For sine, it's the same sign. And then for the subtraction also, it's the same sign again. So same sign there. And the only thing is, differently with this one is, we have sine A cosine B, then cosine A sine B. So the sines and cosines are together here, cosine and sine are together on this side. So once again, that's another thing, just remember, and once you remember it, you've got it. Then we can apply it to all the other things. So take your time, make sure you study these, make sure you know them, because we can apply them to all the things we're going to do later on. So let's go ahead and go on to example number 2. This one's going to take some paper and some work. So with this one, we're going to look at it and we're going to actually pull in some trig identities from 7.1. Alright, so example 2 says, find the value of sine x minus y if x is between 0 and pi over 2 and y is between 0 and pi over 2, and that sine x equals 9 over 41 and sine y equals 7 over 25. So we're going to look at this function here, or this identity, sine of x minus y, so the difference. So we're going to look at this function here, or this identity here. So that would equal sine x cosine y. And because we're doing the same sign for sine, so subtraction of cosine x sine y. So, okay, this not hard, not bad. Okay. Now, looking at this, they've given us some variables or some, values already. They've already given us values for some of them, for 2 of them actually. So they've given us sine x equals 9 over 41, and they've given us sine y equals 7 over 25. So we have this one, we have this one, but we must find these two. So we don't know what they are. So we're going to have to use one of our trig identities to help us solve it out. So with that being said, we're looking at a trig identity that has both sine and cosine in it. So we can actually find out, we can substitute sine in and find out what cosine is. And if you're thinking through your head, you're thinking, you've done so many ones, what is it, what is it, what is it? And you're like, oh yeah, sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. So we can put that together, and I've said before, we can manipulate these trig identities to get what we need. So we're going to manipulate this so we can get cosine by itself. So it's like a regular equation, we'll solve for cosine. So we subtract 2 sine squared x from both sides. It cancels out there. So we have cosine squared x equals 1 minus sine squared x. And so once we do that, we're going to take the square root of both sides to get cosine by itself. Not cosine squared, but cosine. So that gives us cosine x will equal, we'll leave a blank there. So we need to figure out something else that goes. And we have the rest of it, that's the square root of 1 minus sine squared x. Now, if you remember back at the very beginning of the problem, they said that x is going to be between 0 and pi over 2. Now, if you look at that, that's in quadrant 1 in a unit circle. We have 0 here, pi over 2 here, That's in quadrant 1, so that means all of our x's are positive. So for our cosine here, we're going to be dealing with a positive answer. So let's go and do with the positive answer. So once we do this, we're going to go ahead and figure out what's going on with cosine. So we know from what they gave us up top that sine is 9 over 41. Sine x is 9 over 41. One thing to remember, because it's positive here, one thing to remember, we can rewrite sine as sine x quantity squared. So if we do that, we have what sine x is, so we can substitute it in and it's squared out. So let's do that. So once again, that's 1 minus 9 over 41, excuse me, squared. And we just simplify this out. So here, we'll get 81 over 1681. And in order to make this whole number a fraction, so that we can combine the whole number and that fraction together here, we'll have to make it have a common denominator. So that will be 1681 there for a common denominator. And because it's 1, anything over it, 1 is considered anything over itself. So if the denominator is 1681, the numerator has to be 1681. So to make it 1, anything over itself, to be 1, we have to make that 1681 over 1681. So we go and subtract that and get our answer. So on top we'll get 1600, on the bottom we'll get 1681. So that will equal 40 over 41. So cosine x equals 40 over 41. And that's one of the values that we need. Very simple, right? Yeah. Not hard at all. So we have sine x, we have cosine x, we have sine y. So we kind of have to find cosine y. Okay, so let's find that cosine y now. So because we've already done with the work of cosine x equaling the square root of 1 minus sine squared x, we actually can just go from there and find our cosine y value. So by doing that, all we have to do is just go cosine y is going to equal the square root of 1 minus sine squared y. Now with that, we're saying, okay, that's cosine squared y. We know our y is from what they give us at the top. It's going to be between 0 and pi over 2 again. So it means our answer is going to be a positive answer here. So no matter what we put in, it's going to come out being a positive number. All right, so let's go ahead and find our values for this, or our answers for this. I believe it's 7 over 25. Yep. So sine y is 7 over 25. So we're going to go ahead and come here. We're going to do 7 over 25 squared. And we're going to continue on with this. So that is 49 over 625. Once again, this has to be 625 over 625. So that equals 1. We're going to simplify this down. I believe that's 5 what? What was that? That was 576 over 625. Right, 576, the square root of that is 24. And then we know the square root of 625 is 25. And so cosine y is 24 over 25. And so now that we have all 4 values that we need, we just put them into that function, the trig function, and then solve it out. So, sorry, it's not cosine. I think we're done with sine. I guess it's sine x minus y. So that's going to equal sine x cosine sine x. cosine y, and same sign here, minus cosine x minus sine y. Easy, yeah. And so we're going to substitute it in, and we're going to get everything done. So cosine y is 24 over 25. Sine x is what they gave us originally. That is 9 over 41. We multiply that. And then cosine x, what we found, which was 40 over 41, times, it should be a times, not a minus, sine y, which is 7 over 25. Right. So if you simplify that down, give us our final answer, that would be a negative 64 over 1025. So sine x minus y is negative 64 over 1024. Very simple, very easy. But just I got a lot of work to do with this. All right, see for example 2. Well, example 3.